Going in hard, boy.
Love gun.
Love gun.
I was introducing Rookie to Kisses. I was gonna say my love gun. I was like,
Kisses. When you
whoa.
say
Kisses
sounds
love
funny as shit.
gun. Yeah.
It sounds so softer than what it intended.
Well, yeah, that is funny. I've never talked about the band Kiss, and it sounded like, wait, that's like really effeminate, actually.
Well, it's like saying kiss alone. I don't think it's bad. When you go kisses, that sounds like, oh no, that's feminine.
But yeah, we've had a couple good conversations today, way before streaming, and of course we did not record it because it was organic and off camera. But yeah, we were talking about westerns, and then somehow we're prepping about watching this fucking show Velma on HBO. Whoa, you thought She-Hulk was bad? Oh my God.
They keep on surprising me, Angus. I swear. Like I got
Last Jedi was like, God, can we go back to that bad?
Yeah, honestly, I gotta start keeping a chart here because when we reached Last Jedi, it was like, okay, this is a marker of shit. This is what can be worse than this. And then it's like, since then, we've been tumbling down like a snowball, gaining size as it goes, just with more shit. And it's like, okay,
you know what
it
is?
Point, I miss that in a way because I could tolerate it.
You know what it is, Rookie? I mean, normally you prep for this in finance. We're in a new age where, think of the past. Like, even if you went hundreds of years without a new great work of art that's like this permeates the masses.
Yeah.
You had great works in the past that like you just kept replaying those, like plays of the Greeks and Romans, like they lasted for 2,000 years.
Even pieces of art, literally the Mona Lisa and
stuff. Yeah, literal pieces of art, exactly.
You still always look back as a reference.
Yeah, so like art generally, even though there's eras of like, all right, all these artists kind of are in this pocket of this style, or they'll bring it back to the modern time at that point, like reconstructing an art form. But yeah, like art's kind of eternal. And now this last not even 100 years, I'd say like 50 years, especially since the 1950s, when you start seeing like these generational, like these like actual windows of like decades wise of boom, 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 like music, even within like the genre of rock, you see like, well, that's I hear that, and I don't know what it is, but that's clearly before 1965. Like music's kind of distinct that way. And I'm laying this out because we talk about finance. You see recessions and Great Depressions and whatnot, or like the medieval period, the Dark Ages. There's a whole litany of why that's the Dark Ages, but it's easy to point because it's all social and monetary and war and lack of education and advancement. But we don't talk about that with entertainment. And I feel like this is, whether it's actually been a thing or not, we're in a we're in a entertainment recession, and we're heading to a Great Depression is what I expect. Now, in the Great Depression, Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind, phenomenal box office juggernauts. Like, not just the money they made with inflation, but the amount of tickets sold for those. Like, I did the simple math.
It was like a long ass movie, wasn't it? I was like,
yeah, it's like 3 or 4 hour movie, and sure they had movies in theaters a lot longer, but that movie, from the sales of the box office, with the average ticket price of that era, we did the math, and it was like over 1.5 billion tickets sold for Gone with the Wind. So even in the Depression, when money's tight, like you watch Grapes of Wrath, and it's like, this is my last dime. I hope it gets me enough gas to get to the fucking shanty towns to pick oranges and scrape by. Like,
still went and saw a movie.
That era, and a dime was that important. People would spend 23 cents to see a 4-hour movie, and I think Gone with the Wind was like 4 hours. Go see Gone with the Wind. 1.5 billion times collectively, humanity in the Great Depression paid to see that, when they could buy a couple gallons of gas with that, or a loaf of bread or whatever, you know, like. So yeah, and it's like in the era when we have such decadence, like people put no fucking effort, and so that's why something like Avatar, even though it's like still way less viewership, you know, it's a great marker of like this is successful. People are appreciating a work of art, however simple it is. But yeah, we're in a Great Depression, and you're seeing it because it's like we have no direction. I think some of this is like with wokeness, we got this like self-aware era in humanity
Too self-aware.
for our country in our like the West, this self-awareness of like postmodernism, of self-reflection as like a nation. It's like, well, nationalism brings about this stuff and jingoism, and we want to avoid that. We want to be open. We're the melting pot, yada yada. And it's all from like good intent, but then you get, you know, reverse segregation starting on colleges and whatnot. And you know, oh, if you see this black movie, which you would think you would want a minority film to like be embraced by the population, like something that's like, hey, like everybody's kind of liking this Black Panther guy, you know. No, you're not black. Go sit your ass at home for a week. You're scaring the blacks in the theater. Like,
or wow, Moana.
rhetoric.
My daughter likes Moana. Wants to dress up
Dude,
like that.
I love Moana. And it's like, I don't give a
no.
fuck to ever go to some island country, but like I appreciate, you know, your existence helped bring about like this very ethnocentric developed story and mythology. Awesome. It's a little window to appreciate your pocket of humanity. But now you're telling us to like you're racist if you want to dress like it because we like you. Like you know, it's racist if we don't buy the toy, but then it's racist
yeah, the
if
black
we do
doll.
buy the toy.
That's like nobody's
because then we're stealing it from the colored people that want to buy it.
That don't want to buy it though. They would have bought it otherwise.
It's and I feel like Velma is a symptom of this. It is wowie. I mean, it's just like She-Hulk. Everything we okay. So y'all that aren't gonna watch it or you're on the fence are like, what are y'all talking about? You might laugh at this show if you like Homelander. For whatever reason, for like his for being a Superman, his weakness and ineptitude and frailty of ego. If you appreciate that or find the humor in that with the power he has as a character, he's a Superman. You'll like Fred in this because they really got this like angry hate white men. All white men got little dicks, and you know they got all this power, but it's just because they're inept as men. You know, it's funny, like all this people that say there's no binary love to be like white men have little dicks, and little dicks means you're a little man. And so like, you know, women always boil shit down to sexual values. It's funny when they fight it, they actually do it more. Yeah, Fred is hilarious because it's like a Homelander teenager show.
That was the word
when
that
he's
like
in it.
Homeland, he's like, no, he's like, cutties, like somebody cut this for me. I don't want to do it myself. And it's like, it's stupid, but it's like I could see a young Homelander acting like that. Just like, hey, somebody take my shirt off for me.
Hey, what's up, Walton? What is up? Yeah, let me say hi to the chat really quick. Thank you all for joining. I got 5 people. Be sure to leave a like. I'm not looking at the YouTube side, I'm looking at the streamer, but we got super fan Adam Shaw. He was the first thumbs up, I assume. Hell friend. Keely Chow, if you're here, what is up?
Keely Chow. I always think you're Chinese, even though I'm probably wrong.
He's Korean. He's a rooftop Korean, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
We got Wookiee Supremacy, Papa Cotton the 7th. How's it going? He says blackface Velma and Shaggy rocks. Don't be racist. Ladonis, I'm assuming that's Walton.
Yeah, it's Walton.
Says hell the phase, and now he's in his Walton chat saying Velma looks terrible. You would not be wrong.
You are correct, sir.
But in its terribleness. So that's the thing. This show, She-Hulk, me and Ricky got a lot of kicks out of it. But
You gotta
it's
watch
not
it
the
with a
kicks.
friend.
Yeah, it's not the kicks that the writers thought you're going to laugh at. It's fucking horrible. And that's why it's funny, because it's like, oh my god, they just massacred the Scooby. This is a prequel supposedly to Scooby-Doo, and it's like, where? What? But names, I guess.
Well, no. See,
Um,
there's actually no prequel thing. So like Scooby Doo, there's actually like a whole bunch of different Scooby Doo stuff, dude. There's like they have ones where they're Scooby Doo kids. They're like the same group, but they're like 8 years old. Like they've done baby Scooby Doo basically already, like years ago, like in the 90s.
I
Like
might have seen this. Let me look this up. I gotta look this up.
it's been around forever. And then
Or
Scooby, Shaggy, and
baby.
Scrappy had their own spin-off thingy.
Oh
Scooby and
god.
Shaggy go off on their own things most of the time, which is good because they're the better characters out of the group, honestly. But yeah,
Yeah. I seen this fucking a pup named Scooby Doo. Yeah,
pup
I
named
seen this
Scooby Doo.
stupid
That's the
shit.
one. Yep. So
Yeah,
that's existed. So this show isn't like any. It's not meant to be anything other than this is a Scooby Doo show that isn't with Scooby Doo. That's all this is essentially. But it's Velma and Lesbos
it's a
and
prequel as far as
commentary.
like the gang is not together yet.
Okay, yeah, in that sense, yes, pre-formation of the gang. But yeah, this is the show is not even like the amount of self-aware meta type of things they do. Like they go, oh, the first pilot in an episode should be like this, and blah blah blah. Oh, in the last episode it was like this. Oh, would it be weird the character does this in TV and blah blah. I'm just like, God, shut the fuck up. Like they're like the whole time they're
This
talking
is what you
directly
do
to
with a
us.
friend. You say this with a friend when you watch it, or if you're like you're trying to like brainstorm in your writer room, and it's like they put dialogue just spitballing from the writer's room onto like actual the script, and then there's so much of like, what's great, uh, I don't know if this was actually self-aware or if it's just accidental. It's probably accidental. But the second episode, Velma needs $500 to get the case file on her missing mom, and Daphne who's Asian, even though she's redhead, and so you wouldn't notice
She's
if you
Asian. I
just
literally
glance
had
at it.
no idea.
Yeah, she's a purchased Asian baby by a black-white lesbian couple who are cops, couple dykes, and so she gets the case file because her moms are cops, and so that feels very much like they wrote them as cops because they had this plot, and it's like, well, how does Daphne get the file? And they didn't want to actually write any detective work, and so they're like, well, she's got gay mom cops who aren't good cops. Like, they're not George Floyd killer cops, but they're just like bad at their job cops.
Yeah, she reveals like, "Oh, I've got the file," and then the moms are like, "Oh, that was secret," and then it's like that's the end of the scene, and it's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, but yeah, Velma needs $500 to buy it off Daphne because they used to be friends when they were kids, and then Daphne got hot. Velma is, of course, the ugly, frumpy brown bitch, and of course they can't write her as a pretty brown bitch
What's funny is that in
because
Scooby
it's
Doo,
all like boo-hoo me because
well,
Mindy Kaling is fucking ugly.
what's funny was that in the show, even if that was the case, like Velma still had her own qualities that she didn't really care what people thought, and was at least smart. Like it's basic, simple group quality things that they do in little teams. It was
Yeah,
like, yeah, like she wouldn't get if anyone was like, "You're ugly," she'd be like, "Okay, well, I'll write that down or something." I don't know. Like it's just that wouldn't even be a conversation. It's just okay.
yeah,
But
but
we were laughing at when they make fun of her because we don't like her at all. We're just like, ah, bitch. When Fred's like, oh, this poor little boy, we're like, ah, yes, or whatever. It's just like
yeah,
little things
but
like
yeah, and
that make fun of her more, crush her.
yeah, when they make fun of her and crap on her, like the characters in the show, or they just like when Fred comes across her, apparently like they go to school together and he cheats off her in Spanish or whatever because he thinks she's Mexican, which is the writing commentary of like, oh, well, of course he's white, so he just mixes any brown person up because he's so privileged. He just his head's in the sky. He won't notice Indian versus Mexican, which is like very obvious for the most part. Maybe the women sometimes you could blend them in, but usually it's pretty distinct. But whatever. And so like that template's already set there, and then She needs the file. She needs to get $500, and it turns out Daphne sells drugs, and so she's going to make Velma sell the drugs for her to pay off to get the thing. And so every person she goes to, she's already like prejudging them and saying it to them when she's like, "Hey, drugs for sale, get your drugs here." And then someone wears a beanie, so she'd be like, "Oh, you're just some guy from a show covering your bald spot," or "Oh, you're in an acting class. Do you know that you're not the only one fucking the lead girl?" And like all these things to
Or, "Oh,
like,
you're
I guess
working out
tropes.
you're working out and something, you're a little bitch," or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, they did the thing where it's like a guy's working out and he wants roids, and then she's like, what will cost you?" Is like, "Well, not as much as your, the loss of your dad's love when you blow your knee." And then he's just like existential crisis mode, and so she doesn't get to sell because he's crying at the thought of that. And it's just funny because like she actually like fucking herself with all this instead of just shutting up and selling product to customer. She's saying just like it's funny because comics case says this and we see it where it's like, "Don't like my politics, don't buy my book, fuck you, I
she
don't need you."
also
And then it's
kinda
like, "Oh look, Aquaman by Captain Marvel writer is canceled because it didn't sell, it was in the red."
she's a little Kelly Sue DeConnick, literally. Like that's what I'm thinking of when I was watching this. I was like, "Oh, it's the you don't like my thing or what?" Or not really that. It was more like with Hollywood people, like the guy that made Bros. That's like, "Hey, Bros, how come you freaking straight losers didn't see it? Because it's fun and cool, and you're homophobic. You don't see it." It's just like you don't have any interest. What? We don't want to see a bunch of dudes just screwing like what? And it's like,
It's
well,
not even that
why did
because
anybody buy it? And it's
it's not
like,
even
I don't
that
know.
because I have like a super gay, like American Pie style, like teen debauchery film. Like, we gotta lose our virginity before college. Uh,
But
but
that's
it's
how,
gay.
but that's a sell there already. With this, it was just let's make fun of straight people and have gay dudes do gay things, sort of. And it's
Yeah.
like, I
Well,
don't. What's the? And also you're homophobic if you don't watch it. And it's like, nah, nah. The one you just pitched sounds funny at least.
no, it's like over the top gay. But yeah, it's funny if you know, like it's one of those like I don't need well because people that watch me they know like I'm bi, but like I'm Spartan gay, so I don't gel with the alphabet weirdos. It's just like a fact of life. Like, hey, the door swings both ways. It can be fun, but I'm no fucking advocate, ally, any of that weirdo shit. Like, I'm a person where I'm putting stuff does not inform my personality and my everyday life. And I can enjoy that movie. It's because it's got funny setups, comedy shit, but it's super fucking gay. So
Yeah, I mean, so Velma
way
is
more than this bro
so no,
show probably is, but the people selling it and whatnot, and like
like,
it probably didn't make lots of money because it's kind of underground or whatever. So it's
it
an
was supposed
indie
to be
comedy.
more indie, but they tried to make it bigger. But I guess you're right. That's not even as bad as the Velma show with how they're doing it. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess they kind of at the end of the episode are like, she kind of realizes that she's been retarded, but I don't think they'll remember that next episode either.
Well, yeah,
So
no, that's the thing is like they'll have like a moment of mental clarity, but then this is going to be who she is every episode.
well, it's like she's like, "Oh my god, did I prejudge somebody and was wrong?" And then changes her mind and says, "No, I was right." And so it's just kind of like that kind of, well, so you said you're wrong, but then you changed your mind and went back on it. So okay, that's not really. I don't know. The episode, honestly, this will be the least thing we can talk about. We have more like interesting conversations we want to have after this. Honestly,
Oh my god, we had like a 40-minute debate
we
about
talked for
Thanos.
no, that was over an hour, dude. That was over an hour
Oh,
debate talking about Thanos at like a 5-year difference of his personality in the freaking movies, and we were talking about that for a
yeah.
while, and we're talking about westerns, superheroes, and shit, and it's like
But
we could have
for
kept on
people
going.
curious, for anyone that might be curious in chat, it was, and I said this from day one because I remember we were on a stream with John Talks and Mary. We're talking about Endgame and the Impact. I'm like, yeah, man, I cried because like Iron Man's been in my life. Not that I was always aware, but Iron Man has been in my life at that point, like 10, 11 years. And there's so much in my life has happened over that time, kind of in sync with these films. So it was like a, a, an end, an end to. an era, and so it coincided with stuff in my life. So it was like, that actually hurt because it's not talking about my shit, but it's reflective. There's a parallel. But I remember Mary said that of like, oh, he's different Thanos, and oh, he says he's going to atomize and before he's indiscriminate and whatnot. And it's like, yeah. So that debate was there day one with people within our community specifically, and I have always disagreed. He's the same guy. It's just he has new knowledge, and like, there's nothing that's happened in the story that keys you in that he's a completely different person. So that was our argument, and we were pulling different time travel alternate universe arguments, and I'm like, nah, it's the same guy.
It was probably one of our best debates where we pulled out a lot of good references each, and for his perspective, with him saying that Thanos is pretty much
I know
the
how we
same.
even got on that. It was because of Ant-Man and morality and shit, and so somehow that spilled into Thanos.
Oh yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
But hey, Walton, I'm gonna send you the link if you want to join in. I'll DM it to you because we haven't talked in like over a year. We keep missing each other when we're available. So I'll drop the link. But yeah, continue working.
But yeah, we like for Angus's position, with there being the 5-year difference, and he says that the one that was prior wouldn't be that much different than the one after the events of like Infinity War. Like, that's not a common take where people say that they'd be the same. So for hearing his points, that was the most solid I've heard it, but I still stand by my point. So it really kind of ended up being at I understand
the Dark Knight.
I understand his perspective better now, but it's like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. We both are planted in our opinion on it, but we evened out as much as we could with everything and understand it a lot better. And
it was funny to me because like I've had this since day one, like out of the theater, I heard this complaint and I thought about it. And in that moment I processed it like, no, it's the same guy.
Well,
it's just,
it got me to think about how we don't have that many characters, at least that I've seen, where they live that long, where they live over like 1,000 years or something. This guy's been around for a really long time. He's pretty much the last of his race, basically. And it's like he's got a lot of complexity there with how he's like been resigned to what he wants to do, which is keep on having things. And like, I don't know so like our conversations, like this is a rare conversation because I don't think there's that many characters like this. And
the only other one I could think of would be like, I don't know if Cthulhu's a villain or not. He's just a cosmic.
He's just like a being that exists.
Entity, but Sauron.
But I mean, a character like we only, even though Thanos was in a couple of other movies, he's technically only in these two. So I'm counting it pretty much because this is where all the development is of him and as a character, and we spend this time with him, and it's like, wow, we get to understand a lot about him in just that bit of time in both movies, pretty much, and how he'd act and all these different things. And it's like this was a awesome conversation. And Angus brought up a good example of the Back to the Future with George McFly, and how the longer you go after a differentiating point, then they're two different people. That was pretty much the thing, was the George we see at the beginning to the George we see at the end, like after he meddles with the past and he stands up for himself. Those are two completely different people. But if it was like a day later, a couple days later, a couple years later, he's probably not too different. Like maybe a little different, but not too different. It takes a while for the change to differentiate him even more, which we agree on that part, especially.
Yeah. So then it's like, okay, are you seeing this as an alternate universe Thanos? Because it's not. It's the same timeline. It's just he's a 5-year younger Thanos, and he hasn't done the quest yet. And I brought up all these points about how. So I think the thing is, for one, you get in Infinity War a lot of examples that unless there's some personal connection and a betrayal, Thanos is not looking to particularly discriminate and pick you to kill. Loki was a personal kill because this guy's already failed, and then he tries to double cross him later with the murder attempt, and so snaps his neck. He's like, no more resurrections, which I thought was maybe like, oh, this is gonna be like a hard line, not just ending Loki, which I like the Loki show, but I never foresaw multiverse shit once that happened. Mm-hmm. It seemed like a kind of meta thing to the audience of like, yeah, we ain't pulling any tricks out of the hat with resurrecting people.
Yeah.
And so that kind of complicated like what we know with the comics of the Infinity Saga. But anyway, I think people get hooked on like that lack of interaction thus far compared to Infinity War, but also that the 2014 Thanos has not done the quest, and so he hasn't thrown Gamora off the cliff and faced that quandary. My whole thing is it's not a different at his core, it's not a different person, because even though he hasn't gone through the thing, and at this point you assume he doesn't know about having to throw her off to get the Soul Stone, but he's going to do this quest. This is his life's work. He's been going planet to planet like a Jehovah's Witness of death to every planet, wiping out half the population for his goal. And now he's like, oh, I know where all the gyms are, I can get them. So it's going to happen, but he knows he succeeds, even though he doesn't know the Gamora thing. And so his whole thing is like, oh, well, this is my whole plan, and someone is foiling it when I do succeed. And so that plan is now inept and not enough. And so I'll just atomize the whole thing. It's kind of like a pointed thing where he's directly talking to someone that's challenging him. So he's, you don't know how much that's like a truism there. I think it is, but you could play with that. But I think people see the Gamora toss as like the quandary of like, well, if he has to do it again, maybe he won't. It's like, oh no, I think this guy, like, I don't think will he, won't he? I don't think that's, if it means his quest, I don't think it's ever a question that he will do whatever is necessary. And so I don't think that is the defining moment of like, well, this universe versus that universe, he would pick the left versus right. And it's like, no, he's always going to go one way for his quest. And so he's not a different, at his core, morally different character. And that's why I disagree with Rookie, is that I see nothing that, however compassionate he might be, or in tune with other people's feelings and understanding of their plights, like with Vision and Wanda, where he's like, she doesn't know, but he just did the Soul Stone with Gamora, so he very much knows what she just did, and he's like, well, it doesn't matter for you because I'm going to undo this and rip the stone out.
I surprisingly think that if he were to, like, if he had to do it again, like a second time to Gamora, I think he'd care almost less, because I already did this once, and I did it again means, I don't know how many, this is changing reality as far as I know, I guess. Like, I don't know, that'd be a different type of thing there too. But we pretty much, ended it pretty on pretty good terms with the thing, except for, like, I think at least if his character wouldn't be that much different, then I think, like, in terms of watching the movie and the interactions with the characters, at least with the character's perspective with this Thanos, the one they already went with stuff through, that there'd probably be a little bit more there than having nothing there with the older one, essentially. But that's pretty much our disagreement at that point. There's not too much of a difference with who he is. I think there'd be enough entertainment wise, but that's the difference, I suppose. But regardless, that the whole conversation also spawned from conversations about westerns and superheroes in a way, as far as genres go. And I forget exactly why we're talking about that either. It's one of those ones that just kind of.
It was because I was talking about my friend's parodies with songs at work to pass the time, and we sing "You Don't Have to Call Me Darling" by David Allan Coe, whatever that actual name is of the song. And for whatever, because we hate the diversity hire black bitch, that's like the lead of our line. And so we codename her Sauron or Mordor when she's around. Right. We act like we're talking about Lord of the Rings. And so Lord of the Rings is on our mind a lot because of that. And yeah. And so somehow, instead of saying darling, we said Sauron. And so we're making all these stupid songs with Lord of the Rings. And in that song, he says, made the perfect country and Western song. So that's, the Western star from that. But anyway, more Velma discussion. You carry on with the chat, anything. I am going to grab me a beer real quick.
Okie dokie. I'd rather not discuss Velma, but I will say Hi to the chat for sure. What's up, Sherry? Good seeing you around. Good seeing you around. I see you here and there on the Twitters as well. And yes, what's up, Steven? Always popping in here and there. Good seeing you. Speaking of the devil, what is up, broski? Steven, are you there?
I am here. It takes a minute because my computer has epilepsy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. What's up, Rook? It's good to see you, brother.
What's up? Good seeing you, man. Looking good.
Thank you. I try.
Very good.
Yeah, man. How's everything going with you, brother? What's the news?
That's good. I'm going pretty great. Well, I mean, fuck, we just watched the Velma show. Ugh, fuck.
I wish I'd watched it with you. How I've been listening to the stream so far. It seems like it's as terrible as it looks.
Yeah, I mean, it's funnier with a buddy. Like, if you're not watching shit shows with a friend, then it's more torturous, I would say.
Right.
So, but honestly, I was getting She-Hulk flashbacks, but like almost in a way of like, as bad as She-Hulk was, like that was more funny with the bad stuff they did in that show. Like, I could laugh more at at like the stuff they're doing. With this one, it's just more cringy, like even more cringy. Like, I missed the twerking almost with like the She-Hulk thing. It's like that was retarded, but like that was funnier in a way because of how dumb it was. This is just like, every joke is just unfunny. It's just like, oh wow, because every joke is written like the writers are looking at you and going, "We're referencing things that you guys are also talking about," and it's just like, can you just do an episode? Why are all these shows self-referential and like meta and all? Right. Like, I don't understand. It's like you're not even making a show with a story. You're just pointing out things that have been before and are like, oh, like they make comments about their own characters. Like the Norville dude is supposed to be like a Shaggy. He's like, and I don't like drugs, and he blinks, and then it's like that could be funny, but it just kind of wasn't because this whole character is just. I don't know. He's just like, yeah, I really like Velma, and I hope that she dates me. It's just like, and then there's just stupid jokes that follow, and I'm like, are these even jokes? Like, what was that supposed to be funny? They're like, oh, something about a video from Lil Wayne, and I'm like, is that like referencing something? Like when they had Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk, where I'm like, what the fuck is this? What do you mean? Like, am I getting old? Is that what this is, or is this just literally unfunny?
Rookie, you can't get old. You're the youngest one of us. You're muted, Angus.
Angus, you're muted. Yeah, I'm the baby.
It's not that you're old, Rookie. It's that you're maturing, especially with film.
I guess, man. Yeah.
But he can't grow up too fast, Angus. He's the young buck.
I'm the baby, but I feel like I'm becoming an old man now. Like, I mean, I just watched. What's funny is like I've been watching a lot of films lately. Angus pushing me to watch some stuff. We watched Whiplash recently. Watched Inception. Watched a bunch of these, and it's like freaking, making progress now. Finally. Yep.
Sorry, dealing with something.
No, it's all good.
It's all good. Angus, it is good seeing you, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been too long. It's been too long, man. What's up with our Eagles, bro?
Dude, I'm in here in Ohio, and I became a Eagles fan on my own from Oklahoma, so I'm full of, from Cowboys country essentially. Mm-hmm. And I come up here because I'm outside Ohio State area. A lot of fucking Cowboys fans because of Zeke especially. And so it's insufferable because it's the same fandom, college and pro. You got Cowboys fans that are fair weather, and then they forget and they don't wear their shit when they lose. And then same with Ohio State, they lose to Michigan, they lose in the playoffs, and I don't see no scarlet and gray. You're same mentality, so it goes hand in hand. So I see all this, and I got like at least 3 Cowboys fans that I'm always talking shit with, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm waving on this. I'm not really waving. I'm saying hi, number 5, because they're like, we're taking the division, woo! And it's like you won by 6 points at home. Once the season, like once these teams are established, the Cooper Rush game in Philly is like whatever, could have gone either way. 10 times, but the game in Dallas, like we kept up on the road, 4 turnovers, backup quarterback, lost by 6. Right. You are nothing.
Right. Well, my roommate's a Cowboys fan, so we've been going back and forth all day. And he was agreeing with me. When we get to the playoffs, we're going to see each other in the playoffs, and that's going to be the deciding game.
Yeah, Brady's going to take care. Brady's never lost the Cowboys, and he never will.
You think that? I don't know, man. The Bucks don't look. The Bucks don't look like Brady is great. He is good. He's a great quarterback. I hate the guy, but he's a great quarterback. He's only made better by the people around him, and I don't think the Bucks have a support system that can get him to win in the playoffs. I don't think so. I didn't mean to go sports. I'm sorry. This is a nerd show.
No. I mean, I don't know if you see it. It's behind my shoulder here. Got my Philly cup.
Bro,
so. Look, I mean, my room is. When I got this house, I got the Austin told him painted eagle green.
Beautiful.
And he actually, yeah. So I got like 2 Eagles blankets, got the Eagles cup. I usually got Eagles hats on, but streaming, pop culture guy talk. I wear the.
Dude, I'm loving
Targaryen.
the background. Your studio is awesome, dude. That looks great. Does that Starfire in the background? Oh, that's my slut. I love her. Oh,
yeah. I need to get some lights up here just to like light it better. But I mean, the lamps are doing well.
It looks a lot better than mine.
Hey, as long as you got something, as long as you got a camera, that's all that really matters.
Yeah,
I have a fold-out table that I put out, and I don't have anything behind me to put. So it's
Well, you do
got
have
something.
a cool Dooku toy that you won't tack up on your wall because you're a bag.
I also had that
Like,
Jessica Alba toy too that you sent.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, no, because like if you saw my bedroom, I got a fuck ton of Star Wars and other stuff, and I got Rookie because we love talking about Dooku and the potential, and we really love Tales of the Jedi, what they did with them. Because it's like that's what I want, and so I got him a Dooku toy, I think it's Force Unleashed or Star Wars Unleashed series, where it's like Dooku like doing lightning. It's awesome. It's a cool pose.
Nice.
And he's like, yeah, I don't really know what to do with it. I'm like, you tack it on your wall.
Right.
To me, I'm just like, why would I put that on my wall? Like, I don't know. It's just like I get it with some things, but like I don't know. Like I don't have like shelf space, and then so just on the wall though, I'm like it's just protruding out while it's in its package, and I don't know. To me, it just doesn't. For my bedroom, no, just doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Okay,
Prequel.
Sorry, Sherry. I'll make you a mod.
Oh, Sherry's great. Angus.
Yeah,
she's a great person. She's right up in Orlando. I keep trying to stalk her, but she won't give me her address.
Gotta work harder, man. Gotta work harder.
I know,
Sherry, you might want to make a new account and hide.
No, I can't. You guys are talking about the Velma show. I wish I had seen it. Now that I know you guys are talking about it. So it's Scooby-Doo without Scooby-Doo. Is that what we're dealing with here?
Yeah, this is supposed to be before the gang gets together, but it's not even the real gang because it's all like race swaps or identity swaps. Like,
and personality.
It's unclear
swaps,
if Velma's gay or not, or if she's bi, and I guess Daphne's bi. Which on paper, I mean, there's a lot of OnlyFans thoughts that do the cosplay with some friends to sell their OnlyFans. It's like, oh boy, that looks great. I'm not paying for it, but I like seeing it on Twitter. Great.
Yeah.
And then like, so on paper, awesome. And then it's like, well, but yeah, it's the fan service of lesbian Daphne and Velma, but Velma is Mindy Kaling and Daphne is like an Asian who was bought by lesbian moms. So
holy what?
Yeah, it's like it's just not even anything to me. I'm just like I don't. It's like I if you were to show this to me, I'd be like, if you're to say this is like Scooby-Doo characters, I'd be like, no, they're not. What are you talking about? Like what? Because she has an orange shirt. That's not what makes the character at all, dude. I wasn't even a huge fan of the Scooby-Doo show, but I liked the Scooby-Doo movies back in the day. The movies I think had a better quality compared to the show. Back in the day, especially because they'd have the stupid laugh track, every time somebody says something. And Monster of the Week, we pretty much broke. It's like it's simple formula, everything, but the movies seem to make it more where no, it's not dude in a mask. These are like aliens, or these are zombies, or these are witches, or something. It's like okay, let's seem to go a little more, and they put more effort into the songs, into the stuff going on. And it's like,
well, the production value, yeah, but I mean, like I was born in '77. I'm an old ass. So like Scooby-Doo was one of the cartoons I grew up with. That was every weekend or after school. You know, it the laugh tracks and everything. That was just a part of that era. You kind of got
Oh
used
yeah,
to
I
it
know
with
they're
the
in a lot of
culture of it.
things.
Yeah, bro. So you know, if I'm looking for Scooby-Doo, I'm looking for, you know, what I remember from that time. And with the whole race swapping shit, like I'm so sick of race swap. I don't care. Like if it's a novelty thing and they do it every now and again to try it out, like it was, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, I'm okay with that, like creative license and stuff. But today we see so much of it that it's just blatantly in your face. This is meant to offend the fans of the original, so that we can get our, you know, we can get our own bigotry or our own biases, or we can get licks out at the fans, or you know, we can insult people using this material. It's just so blatant, and it has been for so long. I just,
Well, no, it's even
it
worse in
turns
the
me
show
right off.
because if it was just a race swap, that would be one thing. But they like bring up the race like in different stuff. Like they bring it. They talk. That's part of the dialogue. Half the time, they're like,
The
"Oh,
dialogue
this about rich white
is
people. This about
leftist.
Asian." Just
It's like leftist Twitter,
Oh
entertainment
joy!
Twitter, but like dialogue from characters. And it's not
like
like it's not one character. What was it? Legally Blonde. If you've seen that, there's the lesbian, feminist, legal angle chick in the group where it's like, well,
Right.
there's the downer of the party. So like that was something like, okay, we'll put all this crap in that one character that no one really likes or cares about, and you can't
she
say
only
you're not
has like 5
represented.
lines anyway, so it's like, all
Right.
right, all right.
But yeah, imagine a whole cast is that.
So that's
Yeah.
that's what they've evolved into. They've gone down from just changing one or two characters to the whole thing. Oh my God, Fred! You guys were talking about Fred, but I missed it. What were you saying?
Dude.
You
We're
said he was
saying he
like
Okay.
reminds us
a
of like
young Homelander.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he kind of looks like him for one, and then he's like doing some things that are like it's just kind of funny, like Homelander. Like he's like,
oh, I'm hungry now. Where the hell are my pancakes? And the butler brings them in, and he like sits there's like, I'm gonna choke on that. Cutsies.
Get out the way.
And then like he goes to prison, and he like talks to the guy in there. What's he do? He's like, hi, I'm known as the thief. And he's like, what are you in here for? And he's like, thieving. Which is like, that's funny. And then like Fred's like, oh yeah, so you're gonna say like, yeah, aren't we all? And then like, he's like, oh, bunk beds. And he's like, oopsies. Like he wants him to, he thinks he's going to be picked up because he's a spoiled kid from like, you know, like an Elon Musk or whatever, like
well, like some of that could be funny.
Yeah, like that is funny, but the intent of the writers is like, haha, fragile white men are weak and losers.
Yeah, we're just picturing a young Homelander. That's what's making it kind of funny.
Yeah, I caught like a little bit of that when you guys were talking about it. Sorry for anybody in the chat who already heard it. And you were saying that like if you like the egotistical narcissist, you know, Homelander, you know, his weakness, having like ultimate power and being in his fragile ego. Actually, that is the part of that character I do like and I do find funny. And so I can see that in the way you're explaining Fred. But you're right; it's the intent that destroys it, because you could tell, especially if they're creating this, molding this whole show, you know, as like just trying to take stabs at fans or trying to take stabs at people, then like how do you build something funny and creative and something that's supposed to be profitable when you're doing it with the intent to insult people? You know, like you could take the way they took the Fred character in the movies, like Rook was saying, that was perfect, damn near, you know, to show every you know, to show that character in a way that we would expect to see it. And you could do it in a series. Like that scene sounds funny, Angus. But yeah, I mean, I trust y'all. I've known y'all for years. You've been reviewing content forever, since I first met you. So if you're telling me that's the intent, I believe it.
Yeah,
like
it's seriously, and like we don't recommend watching it unless you maybe have like friends to watch it with.
Okay.
It's got to be with all this trash. It would honestly be. I don't think I could watch episodes like with She-Hulk or this, like unless I have a buddy, because I would just be like, I'm dying watching this because this is time in my life being sucked away. But with a buddy,
think of
it's at
Red
least
Letter
funny.
Media.
Like,
Think of Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst. This is kind of the rapport me and Rookie have when we watch. Like, all right, I'm calling Rookie and like, oh boy, we're going to watch. It's She-Hulk, new week, new trash, yes, and we are laughing, but for nothing that they are intending us to laugh at. It's just like, this is so bad, or like we'll be like, oh fuck, like this is a cool idea, and then oh no, they went. Oh god, they went completely left field and left a really cool story thread that would be its own story, its own show.
And I wish people could have seen our reaction when we like watched Legally Blonde as well, because we after She-Hulk, we were like, we need to watch a law movie or show or something that we haven't seen that could be interesting. And we haven't seen Legally Blonde, so we're like, all right, let's check out that one. And we were expecting it to be kind of stupid, bimbo-y, whatever, but it was like, there's like some character here, there's some story here, there's some law. They're trying to make law make sense, even if like some of it probably isn't fully realistic. It at least seems realistic. I wouldn't know unless I asked somebody who knows about law. And it's like they have good setups and some payoffs, and I'm like, this isn't bad. The character herself isn't like I'm better at everyone and blah blah blah. She's like really behind on everything and trying to put an effort to accomplish what she wants and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, that's like if you had She-Hulk with this character base of of Elle and Legally Blonde, like you could have had an awesome She-Hulk show, maybe like having this type of character have to deal with this new power or something. Like that would have been an interesting little show.
I completely agree, but then you would be asking the writers in modern Hollywood to give you a story where someone is starting off at a point where they have to progress, where they are doing the work and putting the work into progressing themselves as a character, as a person, as a profession. And that's not how it works on Twitter. That's not how it works.
You're right. The
weirdo sphere.
They always skip the journey part of things. And they're like, I'm just better now.
Yeah.
I'm the bestest.
I'm awesome.
Yeah. Hey, really quick, I just want to interject. So I lost my monetization because I've been gone so long.
Shit.
Wasn't making content.
Yeah, if you don't post things for like a year or a certain amount of months or something, and there's
just
like you don't post content,
they're like, hey, you better make all this time now or you're out of here, buddy. And so I'm slowly working back, trying to get consistency, making content. Rookie actually gave me an idea of trying to make my Thanos video arguing my point, which is funny because my first real video was after Infinity War. I was so enamored by Thanos and the betrayal. My first video was like the philosophy of Thanos, and I got like 1,000 views. It's like, whoa. And then normal YouTube, it set me up for failure. But
that's perfect, dude. That is perfect, because you have some takes people don't want to fucking hear. And doing it through the character of Thanos, that's perfect.
I know, and his take was
Thanos,
and he defended his take very fucking well. Like I exhausted everything.
It was like we were like playing chess with like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna take down your Thanos theory. Like, no.
we literally, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like I play this card. Well, I play this card. Well, I activate this card. Which
or like I brought something in with George McFly, and it's like, fuck, this helps you. I'm like, well, wait. Are you thinking of alternate universes versus this is the same timeline? He's just a younger version.
It's like, okay, I said this wrong, but now because your example, that gives me an idea for this thing I could say.
But yeah, anyway, really quick with I just shared the GoFundMe link that I shared in the chat is tip jar. I saw Rhodes Rants before they blew up. They were doing a tip jar for their channel. So I'm not saying it's him and Matrix together, but back then it was just Rhodes. So I'm not saying like gender neutral or anything. Just wanted to be explicitly clear. Rhodes Rants is a he, him, but he doesn't even specify those pronouns.
He's a he.
I love doing gender math with Rookie. Like sometimes we'll talk about a trans, and so we have to reverse engineer what they actually are to make sense, because the biology will be pertinent to like the thing. But anyway, the GoFundMe is a tip jar. Ultimately, the main point of it is helping fund Meth Gator. I set the goal like 100, but it'll just be up forever. I'll share it until I hopefully get remonetized at some point once I make content. Appreciate anything if y'all want to contribute. The end goal is just everything going to make Meth Gator. I got about $600 just my own personal money I put aside so far.
It'll also help make raptor caps spin.
No, that would be a fun thing, Rookie.
Yeah, we got that idea watching Jurassic Park 3, and like the raptors are like to each other, and the guy's trying to translate, and we're like, hey, what are you guys doing over here? You like, they're like stopping them, give us those eggs, huh? Like, you just like they're the cops of the island or something. It's just like,
Angus, what do you need for monetization? What do you need to get back?
he needs to get back watch hours, I think.
Yeah, I gotta get all my watch hours back. Well, it won't happen till at least like the end of February, because when I first came back at the end of last year, Alyssa Milano, like my second video was a short, and it was the Alyssa Milano tweet about trying to associate Elon as a Nazi and saying that like being a white supremacist doesn't work for business, and that she I traded my Tesla to get a Chevy EV, and Hodge Twins and Elon were like laughing at her in the comments because it's like, you ever heard of Volkswagen? Like,
yeah.
And so all I did was share the tweets, and then I showed Hitler and Volkswagen. Like, this was a thing. This is why they're a company. And that was deemed hate speech. And so I appealed it, and they're like, oh no, it has Nazis in it, so it's hate speech. And so, yeah. So,
that was like his first video back to making content, and then he was like unable to upload videos, unable to upload videos for another little while. So it was like, oh,
well, it's a good little hit for like coming back. You know, I had like 500 views with the short, and it's like, all right, this is taking off. And Nazi.
Well, hold on, and you might be in luck though, because I think YouTube is like sometime this month are enacting like a shorts monetization thing, where like if you get within 90 days, like I think it's within 90 days, if you get 10 million views via shorts within a 90-day period, then you can reach monetization. So it's either it's the kind of thing. Well, it's the kind of thing where you either get 4,000 watch hours from videos, or you can get 10 million views from shorts. So.
Those Thanos shorts, dude, just do a fucking quick hot take, real quick, and just put it out there. You can do that in 45 seconds, 50 seconds.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm from Oklahoma, so I have a slower draw.
Yeah. Well, Angus, you have to think with like monkey brain style things. Like you tell me sometimes that sometimes people it's like you just post a video of you drinking something and going, ew. I don't know, just anything something stupid. So people might watch it. They might go viral. I don't know.
Well, you don't know how many times I hear that from him when I'm like, oh man, I forget that this dude's white and has horrible taste in food, which I mean like no taste.
Yep, right.
And so I'll be like, oh man, yeah, I just got this great candy bar from like the candy section at Kroger, the fancy chocolate. I got me some orange dark chocolate. I fucking love it. And he's like, orange and chocolate? And I'm like, what is this? Goes great.
Exactly.
It's an accent. It's not like I put chocolate on an orange slice. It's an accent of
1
citrus.
million views video right there, my friend.
And yeah, dude, you know how many times I just want to like bang my head when I hear like these awful food takes from Rookie of like
just I'll record me like you record yourself saying I got an orange chocolate candy bar, then you just me go ew. And it's like you go white people, and then that's the short.
No, you do that classic like white people. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. That'd be some shorts, couple million views. You're almost monetized again.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What's going on with Meth Gator, man?
Oh, it's just I need money essentially. Just life's really been hitting me. Like every time I think I'm in the clear with something, like things are going good a couple years ago, and then I had 3,000 left on my Jeep, and then I blew the transmission.
Oh,
and so I had bad credit and no real money collateral put down, and so I had negative collateral from the Jeep with any loan I got. So that was also baggage to get a loan.
Yeah, dig it.
For the car, and so I had a ridiculous rate, but I worked my credit. Still working on it, but I got up from like 520. I'm at like 650 now within a year. And so I actually refinanced after a year or under a year. And so, I cut my interest like 8-9%, and it's a shorter term. So less interest long term. So like, I'm doing good, but it's shit like that set me back.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, oh, I got money. And it's like, actually you don't, 'cause you got to get a car or this or that. And Yeah, or like, hey, I dumped it into a computer to try to YouTube more, but then I have shit happen in life, so
Yeah, brother, I hear you.
it's me sideways.
It's
Yeah.
it's like whenever you like shoot, like somebody shoots a basket and they turn around going, "Wow, that was gonna go in," and then hits the rim or it just bounces off somehow. It's like that's what every time you're having money, I can afford meth kit. Dang it.
Yeah, so like that's why I did the posters to start with, was like, instead of just a GoFundMe of like, I want to make a comic, please GoFundMe, or make an Indiegogo with nothing. I wanted to like show I could fulfill, and also instead of just donating, you're like exchanging, you're paying overprice theoretically, whatever, for a poster, but I'm giving you something back, showing I can fulfill. And so that, I didn't make the goal on it, but I did like fulfill what was bought. And I broke even because it essentially, after the fees, it paid to print the poster. Right. I still got a bunch, but I'm just gonna hold off till I can have a comic to sell. Well, dude, or like the art in the works where I can be like, look, I got pages. I just, I'm in the process. Indiegogo or Kickstarter.
Brother, I would not be on YouTube or doing what I'm doing without my friends right here, without you, then. So whatever I can do to help you, you let me know. If you want to promote, if you get a video out for an advertisement, however you want to advertise this, you let me know. I'll push that shit on my channel.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's a long ways off. I don't know who the artist would be thus far. A couple people in the works I got for possible covers and whatnot, but yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things, like, it's just hasn't worked out this far, but I keep on. Yeah, the one good thing that's worked for me in life the last few years is my job. They let you do a lot of overtime, so I usually do 50 plus hours a week. I'm a co-lead, so I'm up to like 24 an hour for standard pay.
Good shit.
It's like 36 overtime, but got stuff I'm still paying. But I do set aside money every check I can, so that's where the 600 is. It'll fluctuate depending like when someone I'm trying to commission will actually open up for the commission, and I'll pay them. But yeah, so far the meth coffer, my meth empire, is at $600 so far.
All right, well, it'll grow. It'll grow. That's what I tell my dick. I just keep talking to it, talk down to it occasionally. No, it'll grow.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to
giving the channel more attention will make once he gets the channel more attention, the gator will grow.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Right. Well, let's start with that. With that. We'll do some Thanos videos, bro.
I might, man. Yeah, no, that's crazy because Thanos, that was like my first real videos. Like my whole thing was like philosophy of Thanos, and I need to rewatch because I can't remember exactly what my angle was.
What's good though is like Angus and I will randomly we don't mean to, we're just having a conversation, but then we'll like somehow veer into like a debate of certain things, and it's all the time. And it's like
so we were talking about
our ability to talk about something.
We were talking about Ant-Man. I don't know how exactly it segued into Thanos, but we were talking about Ant-Man, and apparently the new Quantumanium is like he's going to try to use the quantum realm to reverse time to have younger time with his daughter. And Ricky's talking about morality. It just sounds bad, and I'm like, I believe like Cersei Lannister, power is power. There is like morality, all that, it's all out the window. I believe in a very amoral world. Like there are things that I adhere to as good or bad to do or whatnot, but like I concede in my worldview that I am just a product of the environment and time I'm in, that like I'm informed based on those constraints, but in grand scheme there is no real morality, and there's just existence. And so in that vein, especially fiction, like I gravitate to dark bad guys and whatnot.
Right.
And with something like Ant-Man, it's like, oh well, he's gonna rob his daughter of time that she's had and grown, even though he wasn't with her because he got sucked into the quantum realm. And I'm like, he was saying, well, it's bad and what. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. And he's like, well, what if your mom did that and had a different timeline and you had no idea and you were essentially a different person? And I'm like, I wouldn't know. So I don't
we got into the quandaries of like, if you lost your memory, like to me, like if you don't ever recover memories that you have,
that's
you essentially died. Like you as yourself has essentially died. And so it was like, I think that's what got us into the conversation with Thanos. And it was like, with her, if she was okay with losing whatever she gained in those 5 years that he was gone, that's one thing. But like, if she experienced things that she doesn't want to let go of, I think that'd be messed up for him to do that. But Angus is like, nah, I don't care. Just like, that's not...
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to argue if it's good because it's like, okay, within the parameters of good and evil, it's like, oh yeah, that's bad or at least villainous.
To me, I'd like to see the argument take place because they usually just skip over that kind of thing.
Right.
I'd at least like to see that brought to foot.
No, that I agree with you. Well, good and bad, that's a construct of your environment. That's really what your culture, how you're raised. And also, like feeling your inner.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, my point was more. I'd like to see them discuss it rather than just have that be the plot of. Well, the plot is I will like this is what we're doing, and then that's what happens. I'd be like, no. Can you like show some of the discourse of doing that a little instead of just doing it, and then that's what it is. You're asking
for depth from Disney Marvel. Right?
And, well, it used to be there sometimes. There used to be, and so I long for those days.
It's gone, man. It's gone.
After seeing House of Dragons and stuff, I'm a different person. Like this is I'm different. Angus
came in and took it. She took it all for herself.
Oh my god, you sound like Spider-Man. I've been rewatching Spider-Man trilogy, and when fucking Cuck Peter is trying to get Mary Jane to not marry the astronaut, and he's like, I'm a different person. Punch me, I bleed. Oh, it's like, what a pussy.
Angus and I, we don't like Mary Jane in those fucking movies, or at least I don't like Mary Jane in those movies. She's a bitch. She bounces around all these different dudes, leaves the astronaut for like. All this stuff,
got daddy issues.
Oh my god, you suck, woman! You have no idea. No.
Right.
I'm gonna make out with you at the funeral of my ex-boyfriend's. Like, oh, you stupid cow! Like,
I know.
Oh my god. If I can share it, because my internet's running slow on these other tabs. No, not invite. I'm not inviting Twitter.
No, that's not a good idea.
There's this funny video I saw. I don't know if you saw it, Ricky, but it was funny because it's like the Omegle or what. I don't know if it's his old videos or if it's some website. I don't know, but it's like all these guys dressed like they're like modern camo Nazis or some shit, and some girl like shows her start doing like Jew, and they're like firing cap guns.
I might have seen that. I don't remember. I saw there's like some Spider-Man chick at a mall, like going choo shooting fake webs.
Yeah,
at people.
I think you shared that to me. I
sent that to you. I was like, that's an Angus thing.
Like, I'm good. I saw this video and it fucking killed me. Hold on, They think you're weak. All right, so this guy, it's a UFC fight, and he's getting the fuck beat out of him. He's pinned. And he loses his mouth guard, and the guy sees it. He's like, whoa. Here you go. And he puts it in for him. And then proceeds to beat the fuck out of him.
Yo, that's some alpha shit right there, boy.
I want you to keep your teeth that I'm about to knock the fuck out.
Yeah. This is I want everybody to think I'm a high guy. Here, motherfucker.
I can see that being time out. Time in.
He was being a safe competitor.
It's like in Waterboy when Waterboy takes the time out to give the ref some water.
What?
Okay.
Good job out here, sir.
That is.
Oh my god. Okay, so I don't know I didn't actually listen to this. Hopefully, it's not any like copyright shit. I don't need another thing on my record with YouTube.
Don't do that. You're in trouble enough right now.
But let me share this. I seen the title, but I don't know actually what's going on. Fuck. I hate the new buttons on StreamYard.
You just gotta adapt. That's all.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those.
I don't know where the buttons are.
Juan Lugo Perez, Sergeant Lewis Powell, Detective Seneca Shield.
Oh no! Why did it pause?
Oh, good old.
It says married cop fired for allowing entire police department to run several high-speed trains on her.
Is this what I'm talking? Is this what I mean?
Patrol Officer Gavin Schoborough. Hobbs says details of the investigation made public so far have shaken public confidence in the PD.
There's definitely going to be a time period where we're going to have to really emphasize rebuilding the trust of our community.
What's the wrong? Okay? No, what she did wrong to her husband. Yes. But
he allowed it. He's being a cuck. So
allowing entire police.
Why is somebody upset? Was she banging in the apartment? Why is anybody upset? She's a sex pot. She's, you know what I mean? She's the fun chick on the course.
Oh, okay. Hey, Steven, you watch football, so you know my my hope and a strong prediction. I feel pretty confident in this actually. I called the Bengals in the Super Bowl last year, and unfortunately they lost, especially to fucking California. But it's a good game regardless. But I'm calling Philly, Cincinnati. This will be like the near perfect Super Bowl for me, because if Philly loses, I will not be mad. I'd be like, damn it, like I'd like to have a number 2 under our belt,
Right.
but we lost to a team I really love, and it's Joe Burrow, and he lost the previous year, so it's like it all kind of works out. You know, who better to lose to than the team I like? So that's my prediction. But yeah, with the Bengals, you might have seen the Bills game. And that whole, was it Danny Hamlin or whatever the fuck?
Yeah.
His not vaccine related injury. Well, there's a really funny video going around that you might have seen, but I think we can show this. It's pretty good. It concerns that. I remembered where the tab is.
Yes, Sherry, that cop is doing a great job. Thank you.
I don't know if he's protecting. He's definitely serving. Or all those cops are.
We all give it our own way.
God damn it!
Hi. Go to Angus. You're getting used to it again. It's okay. Take it slow, brother.
Break it in again, old times.
All right, here we go.
Are you or a loved one suffering from a medical coincidence?
Oh shit!
Want proper medical care, but you don't want people sniffing around asking a whole bunch of questions about what might be causing your problem.
Right.
At the Kaufman Institute for Coincidence, we won't look into the cause of your heart or other problem. We'll just fix it. That's right. We promise to only look at your symptoms. We won't get all curious looking for causes, because that's your employer or your doctor into some legal hot water. And nobody wants that. At Kaufman, we understand that coincidence is now the leading cause of death. We want to operate at the speed of science. There's no looking for causes. No pesky questions about drugs or vaccines you may have been given. At Kaufman, we specialize in the effects and leave the causes to the conspiracy theorists. And let's be honest, we know the cause anyway. It was a coincidence, right? For each new patient, Kaufman's talented team of doctors strap on their blinders and look directly at the problem area, usually the heart, just like the CDC recommends. Our main campus now treats myocarditis, blood clots, heart arrhythmia, stroke, heart attack, magnetic skin, difficulty breathing, full body blisters and burning, convulsions, kidney failure, memory loss, cancer, sudden death, and much, much more. Give your...
Yo, that is so on the nose. Where could you send that to my messages? Please, thank you, my man. That is so on the nose. I'm going through the rogue chat, and I was like, "Yo, do you think we should talk about the vaccine?" Nah, we shouldn't talk about. All right, we should talk about transgender infants. You're like, "Nah," I'm like, "Fuck, I can't talk about anything I want on YouTube."
Nope.
Fuck.
Not no mo.
No, not at all. I mean, it was bad before y'all, but it's terrible now. And then with what's okay, how do I say this? With the coincidences that are going on, and you're seeing the usual suspects.
Coincidences.
Yeah. Oh, I'm using that word from now on. With the coincidences that are going on, you see the usual suspects, in our indie sphere that, were for the coincidence and when it started. And, and they're just trying to make excuse like, that person had heart, like Lisa Marie Presley just died, right? History of heart disease in the family.
Oh, she just died?
Yeah,
like today, I think.
Attack.
No, I saw she had the thing, but I didn't know it was.
She's also she didn't die right then. I think she died later, but
okay. Well, she did. All right, and it's a coincidence. Somebody was saying she had a history of heart problems in her family. Like, yeah, but you don't think that it wouldn't exasperate that or any other condition that someone might be predisposed to if it is a.
That's when you say. Did all the other people that die of heart attacks? Did they all have a history with Elvis's family too, or something? Like,
we know it caused the death. It was a coincidence.
Like,
right?
There's a history of heart disease in their families. Okay, all of them.
Angus, you are awesome. Thank you so much for that video. Oh, now I know that. I'm approaching this shit. Yeah, but it also like the sudden rise in sport, like just sports related.
All the soccer players dying.
Coincidences, yeah.
All the athletes that shouldn't be dying of like, oh, my heart. Like, really?
I mean, I don't know why Ooch died, right? But he fell down with a heart problem. As far as we know right now, just collapsed.
Well, it was crazy because I saw, I don't think I followed him, but I saw Jeremy tweet about it, and I'm like, oh wow. And then I saw iHypocrite had the receipts of fucking Uche, where it's like, oh, we need to like lock people up, they don't get vaccinated, this and that, and it's like,
Uche was far
dead
left.
at 38, died suddenly of a heart. It's like, huh. Coincidence.
Ooch was left. He was very, very, very left.
Yeah, I didn't like that dude. I didn't like his Snyder shit. I didn't like that, so I never watched him.
I know people had a lot of opinions on him. Like, I knew him for a little while. We talked on the phone here and there for a little while.
No, I'm not saying like, haha, you're dead, but it's like,
no,
that is
it's
ironic with everything going on and
really
the shit he pushed, and
It really is. And if someday I die of some strange venereal disease because I like hoes, hey, you know what I mean? So that's a coincidence. All I'm saying is, I was trying to be funny, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. But yeah, like that's kind of why I just said because I considered him a friend. I talked to him. When he passed away, like I just said what I had to say and let it go, because if you go further into it, it is connected to everything that's going on right now in sports and around us, with all these coincidences. And it's we can't even talk about it openly, even after the grace period of someone passed, like Chadwick Boseman. When Chadwick Boseman died, I wanted to go off about that because he's a jerk. He was a racist son of a bitch.
Really?
But I didn't. Oh yeah, he was all about BLM and his screw to Whitey, and
I had no idea. I thought he was an actor that pretty much shut the fuck up and just did his role. I never heard anything about him, so it's like.
But he was also, to be fair, but he was also somebody that would work with like charities and like what I mean. So it was back and forth. It was just his political leanings was the same as everybody else in Hollywood.
Yeah, as a black, like I don't even like to say black conservative, but I'm black. Mainly, I'm conservative, but I'm actually black, and so
you're black.
I'm very aware of I just expect it, and that's why I don't get along like the average black person. I'm always expecting like that mentality, and so I just kind of like already check it out.
Well, that's because you're high level. Yeah, you're high yellow, Angus.
And so like I don't subscribe to any of that shit of like race-based ideology, especially that's pushed on black people from Democrats and whatnot, and conservative. So in this day and age, I lean Republican. I might have been a JFK guy in the 60s, but in the day and age we're in, it's like I just have to vote Republican by default. And and I never heard that of him. I just assumed he was in the clear, and that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. But
yeah. Well,
I liked him for what I've seen him do, but I really only saw him do Black Panther, and I don't really care to look into his filmography.
I thought as an actor he was excellent. And
what I was saying is like I just even though I was not aware, I just expect that if I see a black person in Hollywood, I expect they're going to say narrative.
Oh, okay.
And more than likely they do believe narrative.
Take that. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. It was right before he passed away, and maybe it was because he was passing, maybe it's because he was going through what he was going. I don't know, but right before he passed away, his Twitter was all about F Whitey. Support BLM, support the rioters, support like he was losing it. But for a long time, I didn't hear that from him. Like I tried to separate the actor from the actor from the acting. I'm probably saying that wrong. I know I'm saying that wrong, but the artist from the art, whatever the fuck I'm saying. God, I'm messed up.
Yeah, it's close.
I'm sorry. I'm so tired right now. I'm sorry, y'all. But with Chadwick, it was like there's that grace period. He died, so I wasn't going to go out there and just be like, yeah, but wasn't this guy just calling for division and hate and but he's but there's a certain amount of time grace period when someone passes away. At least for me, it's like some things are just off limits. Let people grieve. But that's crazy. I didn't see that. I didn't see that tweet from iHypocrite. And but I knew somebody out there was gonna. I know because I knew Ooch. I knew somebody out there was gonna go. Oh yeah, hey, by the way, and point that stuff out. It's a shame. What's up, Tim Talk? Hell, brother, yo, there's a good person in their community.
Timothy. Yeah,
he's a good cosplayer out there, man. Tim Talk is good. He's a part of the new crop, Angus.
Yep. He's a new crew. Yep.
Yeah.
I like what Tim does. Hey, wait, Tim, are you at monetization yet? Because I know you hit your 1K.
I think he's at 1K.
No, I know he's at 1K, unless people just dipped out a second after they subscribed. But I wonder if you guys watch time yet.
It's kind of interesting how nowadays I'd say that viewership's more important than subscribers, other than to get monetization, basically.
Yeah, once you get to 1K, nothing matters as long as you're getting watch time.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me. I love this video. This killed me. Oh, damn it! No.
They used to happen to me sometimes, and you go, "What are you doing?" And it's like, no, that's just what it happens. Just Twitter's dumb.
All right, here we go. Let me make sure the sound's up. Good.
Is it an apple or a chocolate? Let's find out. Comment your answer below. And of course, it's beans.
No.
Oh my god, that got me because it's like, I love it because it's like that was not an option. Fuck you.
That's gross.
You choose the red pill or the blue pill. Fuck you. There's the white pill.
No, that was good camera work too. You could barely see the scene. That was really good.
Yep. It cut so smoothly. I was like, that's either a really good knife or that's obviously cake. No.
Oh, hey, wait. Okay, so it's funny because we got some comics talk a little bit. I don't know the parameters, but so we'll look at this article real quick. Pulled up from Rookie's messages.
I forgot what I sent you entirely.
Well, this is one I sent last.
Okay.
And then we'll scroll back up and
okay.
Let me see. Share that shit. All right, Tim says he's at 1,400 watch hours. So he's got a lot of grinding to do.
Live streams.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yep, here and there, at least once a week. An hour or two.
All right, so Black Panther fans slam Marvel Comics for nerfing T'Challa in the latest issue. All right, so Marvel fans express frustration with how the latest issue of Black Panther weakens T'Challa and the portrayal of Steve Rogers, Captain America. Black Panther 13 comes from writer John Ridley, German Peralta, and Chang. Alex Ross did the cover and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. T'Challa and butts heads with several Avengers following disagreement over a situation involving terrorist organization and secret surveillance. Having formed his own team of heroes to deal with the problem rather than relying on the Avengers, T'Challa goes head to head with Captain America in 13. I told you the Avengers would handle this, Captain America tells Black Panther before they begin fighting. So you can either go back to Wakanda or stick around and get your butt kicked.
What? Oh.
Up to you. T'Challa, whose childhood friend Jai is leading the terrorist organization, attempts to explain how he plans to remedy the situation. However, Steve tells him his intentions don't matter and that nobody trusts him to fix things. While the two appear evenly matched at first, Captain America begins repeatedly punching Black Panther in the face while trying to force him to stay down.
Put his mouth guard back in for him, though.
Panther refuses, but then gets some unexpected assistance from Namor at the end of the issue. They did not have to just have Steve Rogers tell T'Challa to go back to Africa.
Yes, they did.
That's great. Like, I really hate this page. Hey, I truly am curious what the writer's thought process was here. Feels like Steve is calling T'Challa boy.
He is with his fist.
Boy. That's how the writers wrote it, though. They knew they were going to get this reaction. This is for this reaction. You see the way
we have to buy this now. This is based. So they compare it to Captain Marvel 15. when Steve and Carol Danvers don't see eye to eye. Rather than fighting one another, Steve yields to Carol, saying, "I trust you, Carol. You say this is how it has to be, then this is how it has to be. Not much point wasting time with a big knockdown drag out. Just going to trust your play and hope this helps." Marvel previously announced release run on the series would end after Black Panther 15, which releases March 18th and ends and marks the end of the All of This in the World 2 storyline. The synopsis reads: the epic finale of John Ridley's game-changing run. Finally, all things come to a head. Jai, T'Challa's best friend and sleeper agent, whose assassination served as the catalyst for all of T'Challa's recent troubles, is alive. Not only is he alive, but he seeks to seize control of the entire world, all in the name of Wakanda. Still injured, Black Panther rushes forward to take down the man who was once his closest comrade.
Comrade.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they have a point in this continuity.
Isn't that the plot with Killmonger? He wants to take over the world with Wakanda stuff.
He wants to weaponize all black people, which is funny because, like, theoretically, like a third or half of black people in the world are Muslim, and the other half, more or less, are Christian of various denominations. And so that is a powder keg. Like, it's just like Hitler. Like, if Hitler won and made the entire world white, whiteness would bifurcate by borders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like not even talking about like long-term evolution of humanity. It would bifurcate off of, like, it's like we all love football. It's like, let's play football. It's like, all right, shirts and skins. Like, now you have a little war going on.
Mm-hmm.
And like this, like, humanity does not unite. And even if
you say bifurcate, does that mean more specifically like people will find a reason to fight each other over something?
Yeah, they'll like people will split over anything.
Like, okay, our skin color is the same, but now your hair is different. Okay, our hair is
you
fine,
and me. We love Thanos, and I'm like, 2014 Thanos and Infinity War Thanos are the same character.
And I'm like, no.
War. There you go.
Yes, war.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. I'll kill you over this opinion.
And it's like me and Walton, we love Philly. But like if we were talking about football, and it's like, all right, if you could adjust for stats and training, all-time greats, if you're making an all-star team, who would you start at quarterback? I would probably pick Tony Romo or Roger Staubach. Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And he might like fight me like, oh, it's got to be an Eagle. It's got to be Norm Van Brocklin or Jaworski or McNabb or Vic or Foles or Wentz or Hurts. And I'd be like, yeah, I would not take any of them over Staubach or Romo.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, also people be like, you looked at me, I'm gonna kill you.
Well, it's a tribalist. People are humans are tribalist. And
Star Trek's stupid because there would be all this conflict on Earth still.
I love the Star Trek dream though. I love the dream. I love the illusion.
No, I hate it.
We've got
conflict breeds success.
United world.
With imbalance comes growth. Yep.
Yeah,
I feel like Stargate had it better, where they're like, no, the whole world's still going to be divided as shit. We're going to try to unite, but like we're only like working together. We're not united though. So
that's why the best sci-fi movie is Arrival, because
I like that one.
All the aliens come here, and it's like, all right, we're trying to talk to them, and it's like every country that's dealing with aliens, like the Chinese are playing a war game of mahjong, and that's how they've learned to talk to them, and so they get some message, and it's like it's in war context versus this girl's talking to them in English and trying to translate their circles and all the little accents and stuff, and she's getting something totally different. And so, and then people getting the intel and it's spilling out, then you get like weird Alex Jones, Riddler, the Batman type like terrorist ideology of like, we got to kill them because they're invading. Like,
right.
Like there's no unity, and that's a good thing because if we're all homogenous, you know, it's like the Clone Wars. If like you had an army of clones, one virus could kill everybody.
Well, humans are also fiercely individualistic while also wanting to be tribalistic. So, yeah, you're right. You know, the only time that people do a certain group will unite is when they have a common foe or a common enemy. Then they go right back to hate each other or fight.
Yeah. I don't know if there's an article, but people are apparently crying about Spawn unwanted violence. I don't know the context exactly, but so years ago, Spawn like 250 came out, and that was bringing Al Simmons back. Because from like 180 or 181 till like 250, they had a white Spawn. He was a different guy.
Yeah,
there was a white Spawn for like 80 issues, and then they brought Al Simmons back, and now they're doing the Spawn universe, and it's sort of a reboot to like get new people in, and they got multiple comic runs that tie in. But yeah, so I saw
multiple Earths in that run.
Like no, it's the same Earth as far as I know. It's just different. Like you got Scorch, which is like She Spawn.
Okay.
And you got King Spawn, you got Gunslinger Spawn, it's like an Old West Spawn.
Yeah.
And then you got mainline Spawn. But yeah, reading 250, it's like there's like some sort of like kind of like race riot protests, like Ferguson era when this came out. And so McFarlane is writing this, and Al Simmons is witnessing like, you know, this protest, and like there's like this worry about like, police brutality or whatever. So this is nothing new. McFarlane is from Canada. He's in comics, so he's an artist. Art leans left, especially now. And he lives in California. All right. So you got like all these factors of like left leaning. And I get irritated because we're in this era where it's like, you know, the woke watchdogging, which I think is good because you get like a long term, you can stack it up, but it's like, it's not a big deal. It's like, well, sure, Heimdall is black, but they never sold Heimdall. Like, we race swapped Heimdall. It's just, hey, we got Idris Elba to play Heimdall, and no one cries about it.
Right.
Because they never virtue signal about it. He's a good actor. He owns the role. I couldn't imagine someone else playing Heimdall now. And same with Nick Fury. Like, he's black in the Ultimate universe, which is a different universe from main continuity 616. But yeah, like we have all these examples for Ghostbusters and before with like purposeful virtue signaling in various forms and entertainment. But McFarlane, you got something like, well, this wasn't like the norm necessarily. It was just like, and I get irritated because I think there's a difference between virtue signaling and narrative pushing versus, well, this is just like the artist wants to make this story. He's in control, and this is what he wants to write. And this is, sure, he's going to interject his worldview in some way, however minute or large. And there's a difference between critiquing the merit of his argument versus saying like, oh, they're pushing narratives with Spawn now. And it's like, this was there like 8 years ago, give or take, in 250. Well, like, this isn't new, and you're crying about it. You clearly don't read Spawn at all, because this is nothing new. And Al Simmons is black, even though he's a mercenary and served in the military. He's not just a pure jingoist. Like, he did all this black shit.
Yeah, he went to hell for a reason.
Yeah, he went to hell for a reason.
Right.
And because of that, he's kind of got a new perspective about everything he's done for this country and all the bad shit. And I'm catching up, so I'm around 300, and it's very clear that he's like leaking stuff about the elite across the world that he knows, and it's like disrupting markets, and it's getting a lot of collateral damage killed because of it. But you know, it's kind of like his goodness, if you will, that he's doing this. And I don't know, I'm just irritated by that. Want to know your thoughts? I'll try to find the specific thing I'm talking about.
People get very static in the way they see things. I mean, I fall prey to that. When we get used to approaching material, or we get bombarded with information consistently with a certain narrative or spin to it. I mean, that's why the news operates the way that it does, in the way it conditions people. And so you're right, because the artist first off is allowed to do whatever they want, but making a point with nuance, you know, either showing a bias or trying to tell a tale with, a certain inflection, you know, a certain lesson to be had in there, or a direction, is something that artists have been doing forever. And if it's done well, it does pass on the ability for the reader or the viewer, whatever media it is, to step into the shoes or empathize with a character or situation that they may never had any experience with in their own lives. Done well, that's great. That's why I really try to look at, when I go to bash something, I look at the context surrounding it. All right, what are the creators saying? What are the producers saying? What's is there already a pre-constructed narrative? Because there have been a couple times where I've covered something and I've looked back on it and been like, I was kind of wrong about that. Like that was just an artist trying to convey a message, and because I'm static and defensive with the whole woke ideology, that's the lens that I see through. I've become conditioned, and that's the lens I see through. But as a writer, yeah, absolutely, because in my own science fiction, there are stories to be told that have a lean based on who I am and where I grew up and how I look at things and how I view things. And done well, I think it's a wonderful bridge using expression between ideas.
Yeah. Well, it's funny with that Black Panther thing. It's just like, this just proves our point where it's like, you don't cater to these people because, like, the best comics usually are the good guys infighting. You know, like Civil War is awesome. House of M is awesome. The divide that Civil War starts to lead in Infinity War for the Avengers to be splintered, like that's a cool storyline, because then you throw in a villain when they're in disarray versus the Avengers where it's like, we all teamed up and we're doing this thing now, I guess. That's fun intro, but you want to see like messy shit.
Yeah.
The Boys, kind of the same, even though it's got this very drab view of superheroes and whatnot because Garth Ennis, but like that's interesting.
Yeah.
Even BVS, like people wanted to see it, made almost $1 billion because like the premise of like, oh, two good guys, icons fighting each other, awesome. But yeah, so this comic, very reminiscent of I think it's 250, or it's like the one shot in between when they're like shifting back to Alcyones. But so you see there's a BLM protest and all these signs, and so the narrator's like, in a collective gathering that has played out thousands of times in the past century, one that many feel has been ignored. Thankfully, with such raw emotions laid bare, most gatherings remain peaceful. And someone gets hit with a bottle until they aren't. And he's like, Jesus Christ. And then they show this cop on a horse, and it says, but it's happened many times throughout history. Man's greatest flaw, his emotions, can quickly upend any sense of humanity. Sorry, it's really tiny, so I'm trying to lean in. In this case, tear gas chases out most of the protesters. And someone's like, baby, hold tight. All in the ropes of keeping the peace while alerting others to stay away. All right, then it continues in this reply. It loads up.
I like the art.
Yeah, no, it's very, very different for Spawn. And the girl's like, Mom, I don't. The young girl, confused, just wants to be at her mother's side. Fearing she's being abandoned. Combine that with limited visibility, and the results can be heartbreaking. It's like, someone call an ambulance. And it appears the girl got trampled by a horse. Ignoring their own safety, others gather, trying to help any way they can. Why? Why is this happening? Because some young mother brought her daughter to a protest carrying a cardboard sign. Just a damn cardboard sign. That in the hope of making their voices be heard. He checks the injured girl while simultaneously feeling his rage grow. It's like, you, and they're like, freeze, don't move a muscle. And it's like, at this point in Spawn's story, you know, he's got a very different outlook on his own life and whatnot, and he's sort of he's definitely trying to be a justice dealer in the grand scheme of things for the everyday person. Even though sometimes it can get, and that's why he's an anti-hero, because it gets clouded sometimes. And some people, it's like, well, it's worth the risk. Some people get hurt if it's the greater good or greater for my fight with like the mechanizations of heaven and hell. But yeah, I don't know. I feel it. That's the other thing. Like, I don't know if you remember all the outrage with the Batman, Catwoman saying white privilege, and everyone's like,
oh yeah,
white privilege. And it's like, I know that's cringy to hear today, but people actually say this shit. People make TikToks and they're nobody, and they blow up because people share their hot take about whatever, because like people think this, people have bought into these like racist narratives, these crazy gender narratives, and you know, they've been indoctrinated and they buy into it and start talking about it. And so there is organic after the fact of pushing it out there from the elites, it becomes organic from people. And so especially in her Catwoman's case, where she's a burglar and she has this backstory with like an elite white, even though it's like an Italian guy, white person that has tossed her mother's side and whatnot and cost her life. That's her ultimate vendetta. So this is her worldview.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily narrative. It's like, it's okay to write essentially woke speaking characters. And when you're outraged that is narrative, like that's where you lose people. That's where you lose people like me. Where I'm like, I try to be rational.
It didn't come off like the movie was saying this is our perspective. It was the character's perspective.
Yes. And let's not forget, in the same freaking 5 minutes, she kissed a white dude. That was, you know what I mean? Like, you're right. I heard the outrage. Oh, it's woke. It's woke. It's woke. And I'm like, I watched it. I'm actually a fan of the Batman. I like that film.
Yeah.
I think the casting is wokeness. You know, it's definitely,
they probably did it for the purpose of like virtue, but
well, yeah, but true that. But I think all the actors came through, and as far as the story that they were trying to tell, you know, it's a good film. I just watched it again the other night. I'll watch it again and again. Like, it's one of the films I like, and it's actually, in my opinion, the best representation of, well, a young Batman, of course, but Batman itself, like the Batman world on screen that we've gotten this far.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know.
Yeah, people being afraid of the shadows was a good thing there. It was like, oh no, they're worried, they're doing a crime, and they're worried like, will this be when he punches me in the face? Like what? You know, what's gonna happen?
Right. Well, okay. If the Snyderverse had done several things different, I like Affleck's Batman. I like Affleck's Batman. I like Affleck's Batman. I like Jeremy Irons Alfred. I like that Batman. Like, that is like the most comic book Batman we've gotten on screen. You know, I like Michael Keaton's Batman. But Batman is not shoving bombs in people's stomachs and kicking them into drainage ditches. You know what I mean? Like, that's I like that in its own universe. Love that. The Nolan trilogy in its own little capsulated universe way over here. Yeah, I like that trilogy, but it's not Batman. Like, so Robert Pattinson, for whatever, who's actually a decent actor, I think. For whatever you think of that movie, and I liked it, and I think it's about the best Batman film we've gotten in a long time. And like, you know, with the exception of, I do like Batfleck. I did like that, but there were still a few issues with that character. This Batman, to me, the guns on his chest, like, that was perfect. Having the bat symbol be the gun that killed his parents, or a representation of that. That was awesome. I thought that was really cool. And look, I'm sorry, Zoe Kravitz. Whew. Zoe Kravitz.
Oh, speaking of Zoe Kravitz, did you see like the videos where she'd be like saying some like toxic masculinity or whatever?
Oh, I don't care. She can say whatever she wants.
Well, no, she would like say this stuff in interviews with Pattinson there, and you just see like his face is like, yeah, whatever. This is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, she just be hot. Just be hot and act, honey. You know, just don't open your mouth, you know. No, but I mean, as an actress, I like her. And that part, oh my god, that was sexy ass Catwoman. Oh, since Michelle Pfeiffer, last Catwoman. Well, you know what? What was her name? Oh god,
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. I thought she.
Oh, dude,
some moments.
The fact that Nolan, which is, you know, a very cerebral director.
Mm-hmm.
Even he gave us a gratuitous big old badonkadonk shot on the bike. It's like, Chris, I love you.
Yeah, Nolan trilogy was fun. I mean, I like it for what it is.
I love Bane. Dark Knight is perfect. Me and Ricky rewatched it, and it's like, dude, I know this comes across as like a kind of, for comics, a boring, desaturated film. Like it's like a very stripped bare film. But rewatching it's like, no, not only is this a great Batman, it's just this amazing movie. Like the editing,
it's a great. It is a good.
There is like not an ounce of fat on that movie. It's perfect. But then you watch Dark Knight Rises, and I think Bane is a better villain, but he doesn't have the performance of Heath Ledger.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think he's a better villain, and he definitely counters the hubris of Batman and shows him up, and I love it. And I love Hardy's voice. It is both a meme and awesome.
Yeah.
For me, like it's funny to parody and make new words in his monologues, but it's also like good. So it's that duality for me. It's not just a joke like some people make.
But
it's funny because like the writing's just not tight. And there's times where like, someone will say a line that someone else said, and it's like no one in the writing room would like, wait. There's no connection for these two different people to say this thing when it's never been said before.
It's a culture in Gotham, man. It's just common.
Yeah, like it's like what do they say? They say something where it's like a perfect thing for a master thief with a record. Right. There's that line that multiple people say. It's like, wait, why are both of you saying this? And it's like, Chris, damn it.
Speaking of Batman, I watched Inception for the first time recently. Angus made me watch that, and as the first 10 minutes, I was like, "Are you sure this isn't like a Batman movie?" Because like everything in it was like familiar, and there's characters. I'm like, just Gordon-Levitt. There's Michael Caine. This looks like a
Tom
Batman.
Hardy.
I'm gonna have to watch that over again.
I was like, is this a Batman movie in disguise? Like what? And
watch Dark Knight and then watch Inception.
I was like, this is the same. It feels like the same movie for a little bit, and then it changes. But I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
I'm gonna watch it over.
Well, okay. Here's the thing: me and Ricky do. So, at first it was just like, all right, you pick or I pick. Well, a coin flip. So I pull up Google for the coin flip. So hopefully there's no like weight distribution arguments that like I think they've done studies where it's like actually if you flip a quarter, it's more likely going to go on this side more often a little bit. It's pretty fair, but it still actually leans one way. I can't remember which side. But so that's why I use the Google coin flip instead of an actual coin. And so, but what we do to randomize it a bit, so we each pick two movies, and so it's like I'll have like Inception or Heat or whatever, and he'll have some dog shit or some other dog shit that'll be fun to watch.
It's like Daredevil or Dead or Alive. Like which?
And so I might win the coin flip, but I might lose the second coin flip. So he might pick of the two I won. He'll pick between those two on the second coin flip if I don't win that coin flip. So you get some randomization twice over. So it's like a double blind.
Well, I ended up watching Drive that way as well, and I fucking love that movie. I didn't think I was going to. I thought it was going to be kind of lame, but freaking awesome. Drive.
What movie was it?
Ryan Gosling's Drive.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's a very slowish movie. He doesn't say much, but it's just like a really, really good one. And it's like sometimes I'll say that's why like I get annoyed when people go like, you don't like Alien, you must like bombastic blibbity blah transformery movies. I'm like, I love No Country for Old Men. I like Drive. I like slow. I like in-depth thought ones, but it's just not everything. I'm not gonna like everything, especially like it's hard to sometimes like first time watching something that was in the 70s, but I'm in today. Sometimes it's really just hard to get a full thing there. There's things I can appreciate, but it's hard to go, yeah, I just totally enjoyed it. Like Citizen Kane, again, like, I respect it for what it did, but I don't care about that movie at all.
Right.
Yeah. I got to interject this. Ricky shared this. I've seen some of the words, but I got to hear this.
I haven't seen it either, but I thought you'd like it.
This is from Fats posting their L's online.
A great name for a Twitter account, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
If it'll play.
Oh, your internet sucks, Angus.
No, she's so fat. It's just she's draining.
The energy.
It's really, really girthy bandwidth.
The energy here. It should take a while. Yeah. Yep. But we also watched Sharknado recently, and I can't for the life of me see how that, out of all the parody shark films, became like the famous one. Out of all the
neither can I, bro.
There's Sharktopus. There's Santa Jaws. There's all these
Shark Side of the Moon.
Shark
That's
Side of the Moon. We got to watch that one next.
What?
Wait. Okay, so this is on Tubi, so you can watch it for free if you can download it. The app.
Watch Tubi TV and just look up things. There's Jurassic Galaxy. There's so much weird shit on there. You gotta look at movies there at random.
All right, here's the pitch. All right, decades ago, the USSR developed unkillable sharks and launched them to the moon. Today, a team of American astronauts will endure the fight of their lives.
It's like Iron Sky, but with sharks instead of Nazis or something.
Wait, there's space sharks?
Yes. Humanoid space sharks.
Oh my god.
Look, go to Tubi TV.
I'll show you what. I'll show you what this looks like,
and it'll give you funny results. Like, there's so many things on there I want to watch, but they're too goofy sometimes. There's, oh my god, I don't know if I can watch that. It's too funny.
Yeah.
Karen asked in the chat, "Is her name Karen for the fat chick on there?" I mean, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, I'll show you what Shark Side.
Angus said there's apparently a Karen restaurant where they have employee staff that dress as Karen and act like Karen to you.
Oh
yeah, there's a video where it's like she drops your food in front of you and just looks like irritated, and then she like flips you off and then like eats your onion ring and walks off. But it's like, I guess this is what you paid for. I don't get it.
In a way, I'm like, shouldn't it be the reverse where the customers come in and act like Karen to the employees? Like, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Oh shit! Look, they got a hammerhead apparently in Shark Side of the Moon.
Oh shit! See, that's gonna be one of our coin flippers to check out. Is this movie? So.
That actually looks kind of cool.
The poster could look great. It might
looks like something Guillermo del Toro would make for his Hobbit.
Yeah, there's also a movie called Were Shark, by the way, and Ghost Shark.
Oh, Were Shark.
In the Ghost Shark, it jumps from puddle to puddle and kills people. That's why I'm like, Sharknado's the one that got.
Yes,
man. There's all these other ones that are way more stupid.
Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, the way my mom like found a lot of these a long time ago, and like we're like, so do they just have like a slot machine or something or spinner wheel and go, okay, two animals, mix them together, maybe add in a natural thing like a twister or a volcano or something, and that's the movie. Make that a movie.
Well, it just proves that like humans just want to be entertained sometimes, and creating something ridiculous. It hits now and again. It hits.
It's like we're gonna have python lizards or something, and it's like, why? It's like, okay, I guess. That's
it's funny. Like we were going through in the sci-fi, and it's like Bigfoot versus Yeti. I'm like, that sounds stupid. Like that already irritates me because it's like, oh, let's have lowland gorilla versus mountain gorilla.
Well,
it's the same. Like Yeti is just a fucking Himalaya Bigfoot. He's just a white Bigfoot. Like it's stupid. Or like they got a movie Boa versus Python. It's like they're both snakes. That's not interesting.
Yeah. Now, if you had like 1,000 gardener snakes or something versus Python, I mean, who knows, man? That's that might
coming at them like a squirrel. Just
might be different. Yeah. Exactly. Who knows?
The mob.
Who knows?
I don't know, but the posters for was it?
Yeah, Shark Side of the Moon. Yeah,
Shark Side of the Moon actually. I might have to check.
Like we might develop a cult of like shitty indie movie things in our sector over here.
Yeah, like Red Letter Media.
Because I mean, the Jurassic Galaxy was my first hint of like this free to watch streaming service is fucking awesome. Like, but then it also has like random good ones, and I'm like, why is that on here? Like, because I see all these crappy ones, then I'm like, well, what's that one though? But these crappy ones look interesting. They look fun. There's one like the Black Knight Returns, and it's like apparently this dude has like he comes from a line of medieval knights, and it's like a Power Ranger thing, but it's totally not. Where he like just puts on knight armor, and he's like, I'm a knight, and even though there's just nothing to it, and I'm just like, what? And it looks like made out of cardboard practically. Just like this is like a budgeted movie. Like I've seen fan films that have higher quality from lower budgets. Like I don't.
How do they get funded? How do they get funded, Rook?
I don't know, but
yeah, we're watching Velma, and it's like, dude, a studio paid to make this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're watching DOA Dead or Alive, dude. I thought this movie was going to be really stupid. It is kind of dumb, but it's actually good. There's a lot of good quality in it, though. A lot of good actors, a lot of good action set. It's like sexy action comedy. The movie. It's Mortal Kombat meets Crouching Tiger meets Charlie's Angels. It's like who wouldn't enjoy more of this? This is amazing, and it got like critically shat on or something when it came out. It's like
it was like a $30 million movie, and it made $7 million.
We weren't bored for 1 second. There's
It's
a couple.
It's got the chick from My Name Is Earl, the white girl.
Okay.
The
Crabman's kid. Yeah.
Some funny lesbian jokes or some washed up wrestler dude in there.
There's the estrogen like nipple guy from Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler. He's playing the father wrestler of her, and it turns out he also got into this tournament. And so they got to fight each other. And before that, he's like giving her a heads up, and he comes into her room, and she's got one of the main trio of girls in her bed with her because they're sharing a bed because her room got wrecked. And
they had a little fight.
And so he comes in and he's like, "Oh, so you're with your friend?" And it's like, and then she like plays it up and like, "Yeah, I don't wear underwear to bed or something." And it's like, but then they kick her out, and it's like, damn it, she's wearing underwear. What the fuck?
Like,
you lied to me, movie.
But it's just some funny. There's like just funny, constantly funny stuff. Like even their choreography is goofy. It's bonkers, but it's like good to watch. Though it's not horrible. I mean, the only thing we've changed is maybe the amount of cuts they do is a little annoying. But there's some CGI.
Dude, it's crazy. Dumb. It ends up being a fucking Taskmaster plot. It's funny because it's like, oh, the winner is going to get $10 million. We got the final four, and he puts them in like these fucking Winter Soldier tubes. And then he's like, my grand plan. And then like something raises out of the floor, and it's like sunglasses. I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's like, oh, he's going to like use these glasses to like download like Taskmaster when he's fighting someone. And so he's getting his ass kicked by this guy. But because he's got this knowledge, it like patches in somehow to him. And now he's like, counter and beat your ass. And
so it's like, but then he's also this whole time he's been broadcasting this to the world, and we're like, where were any cameras? This is what? He's like, he's not only broadcasting to the world, he broadcasts this demonstration to buyers, and we're like, where did this plot come from? This was random. And then it's like, it's just funny. And there's this nerd dude who's like got a crush on one of the fighter chicks. And it's like such a dumb plot point, but it's like, all right, we're watching this, I guess. This is
it's funny because like she's trained to some degree. We don't really know, but all these ninjas come up from both sides and they have swords, and she ends up disarming a couple. She gets 2 swords. She takes them all out. One is going to actually cheap shot her, and the guy sucker punches him. And then she's like, does this kind of like, my hero. And it's like, he's a whip. He's a pussy. You did all the work. But, my hero. Like, come on.
No, but there's a joke too or whatever where he's like, gosh, I wouldn't want to mess with you at some point. And she's like, ever? He's like, I don't know. Like, all right, next scene, and then go back to the action with the sunglasses guy. And
it made a lot more sense when a friend at work told me that it was like, you got Capcom, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and then you got DOA was a thing for a minute on like Dreamcast or whatever.
It was a video game, apparently. And I would have never guessed it was
I had no idea. And it's like, oh, damn it. This is actually the video game movie that should have made money.
Like, this is really, I really wish they'd like look at this and like make a sequel like this, though, not make it with updated shit. It was like sexy, like for like the women and just like all this. She throws her gun up in the air as well as her bra, and then her bra comes down first, and then she catches her gun, and it's like one weighs more than the other.
Yeah, no, they do all these kind of like porn, like not porn trick shots where it's like, you're getting arrested, lady. And it's like she just got out of the shower. And it's like, well, help me get dressed. So he like uses his gun to hand her a bra. Then because
like
he has his gun, she kicks it.
Like Austin Powers kind of covering her as they do a little
fight.
And
so she like has the gun in the air and then the bra, and she like has her arms. Boom, bra catches the gun. And it's like
it's not like it's a super high ceiling either, but it's like
and they do all these shots where it's like clearly she's not wearing a bra, but they do shots where it's like she's got your back, or it's like you. Oh, maybe we're seeing no nipple.
It's Austin Powers covers her up kind of quickly, but it's like, and it was PG-13, dude. It was like PG-13 movie, and I'm like, this was close to being rated R, but it wasn't, and it skirts that line very well. And it's like, man, this was like the funnest movie I've seen in forever. I wouldn't say it rivals quality of writing of like, wow, this is so amazing, but it's like a perfect like popcorn, but still quality like stuff in here. Like it's not.
Yeah, because we watched Sharknado, and it's like, oh no, this is
shit.
Actually bad.
Yeah, we watched Sharknado after thinking this would be a fun follow up, and we're just like, fuck, this is boring as shit. All right.
It's like, wait, they're blowing up a tornado with the tiny propane tank? What the fuck? And then, like, oh no, the girl that you think is the love interest of the main man, but then his son is macking on her, and she gets eaten out of the chopper, and you're like, ah, darn it, he was connecting with her. There was organic chemistry for like the characters, not really on screen. And then
he goes through a shark with a chainsaw, launches himself in the air, and then he cuts himself out, and then also pulls her out of it.
The girl's in that shark, and it's like, wait, how did he miss her?
Yeah, it's very weird. But I don't know. We had so much more fun with DOA than with Sharknado, man. Sharknado was boring to us. We're like, this isn't fun, dumb. The DOA though, that's free to watch on Tubi, man. Fucking watch that shit. That's a fun one, man. That's one of the funnest. That's like a rewatchable fun one too. It's not like, oh, okay, now I'm done. Like that was little one.
Do you guys watch them together?
Yeah, we
sometimes like we'll just kind of
time it,
match up. Like he'll have his TV on, I'll have mine on. We're on the phone. I'll hear where his audio is, and I'll be slightly ahead, and then I'll wait till it catches up, and then I'll press play again, and it syncs up pretty much while so we can comment at the same time. But we're not recording because we tried doing that sometimes, and it's just not the same.
Doesn't work.
Stuff necessarily.
We could probably just like set a camera or like set up our mic while we're watching, and then make a video of it. Or whatever, I don't know.
I guess
it has to be like a Patreon though, because of the copyright shit.
But yeah, that's what I was saying, because it would pick up on the mic otherwise.
Right.
But no, we get a fucking kick out of that. It's fun watching a lot of this bad shit together. I gotta get Ricky to watch Heat because like I just organically rewatched Heat, and then I've watched like 2 or 3 times in the last week. So I'm like, God damn, this is so good. And then rewatched, I'm like, oh fuck. This is just Batman. This is just Dark Knight. Like I saw some comparison when the Batman was coming out. It's like if the Dark Knight is the Heat of Batman, the Batman is the 7 of Batman. I'm like, oh, whoa. And it's like both of those are awesome. And I'm seeing that for a review headline. Oh my God. I can't wait to see the Batman. And yeah, it was great. Besides, like the last 30 minutes, the extra Riddler plot, like that could have just spilled to the next movie. That could have been your like opening plot, like with Casino Royale into Quantum of Solace. You just start with the chase, and then the chase ends up being, oh, that's the guy he shot from the Spectre organization.
See, I see what you're saying. I like epic films, so I didn't mind the extra half hour. But you're right. That could have been the next film. That could, they didn't need all that.
I feel like sometimes they end more organically. Sometimes if it's longer, sometimes if it's shorter. That one to us felt like that could have just if it ended with him realizing there was more to the plan. It wasn't all wrapped up nice and neat. Then it ends or something. Then it's like start the next one with, oh shit, you got to unravel some more stuff here.
Yeah, like I think they could have had like a reshuffled ending. Have something with like some sort of conclusion for the moment with him and Catwoman, and he gets something in the mail with Alfred. Alfred's back, he's healthy, or maybe he's got a cane for the moment, and he's like, oh yeah, here's the mail, and he's just being Bruce Wayne at home during the daytime, hiding from the light, his vampiric self. And he's like shuffling through Wayne Enterprises, blah blah blah, government, whatever, and then he's like, this is weird, and he like opens it, and it's like something the Riddler planned, or somehow it got to Bruce. And that was the whole thing. Like I'm watching, I'm like, oh fuck, he knows he's Bruce Wayne, and it's like, oh god, he's so close, he missed it. So lucky for Batman, because Batman's thinking like, shit, this is coming to an end. And that was a good twist, because I'm thinking, I'm putting it together, I'm like, oh no, he knows he's Bruce. It was good. No, Matt Reeves is really doing good shit. You know what? Because of what he did with that, I'll give the Penguin a chance. I'm not looking forward to it, but because of him, it's like Nolan. There's a few directors, when I see enough of their stuff, it's like, I don't know if it'll be good, but I'm going to see it. Like Denis Villeneuve, everything I've seen of his, I love. Besides Dune, Dune is well made. It's just I think Dune sucks because there's no character. There is people doing things, and it makes sense, but there's no hook of me rooting for you or rooting for the bad guy because the bad guy's cool. It's just spice, sand.
That's where like an AI type of thing would come up with or something. Here's the plot. Here's what's happening. This is what they're doing and saying, but you're not feeling it or something.
No,
there's no. Did you see Dune?
Yes. Yeah, I like the original. I didn't read any of the books, but I did watch the new one. And Dune, you're right. It's about the story. It's not even really about the characters. So I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why people hate the prequels is because there are main characters, but they do have like there's investment to have, but it is Lucas. He has parallel stories. He has the original trilogy. It's archetypes. It's simple. It's just core character templates in its own unique universe that like everyone can see and like they have a story in their world like that. You know, whatever nationality and era you're from.
You could probably show people from 300 years ago and they could understand what's going on pretty simply.
Yeah, but the prequels is like mostly it's about world building. And it's this grand scheme. Also, it's morally gray. The Empire is the Nazis, and so the rebels are the good guys. So they're fighting Nazis. It's a cookie cutter black and white.
Kind of like Captain America, seeing it differently, coming back. It's like it's not like I was in my day, where I could just punch the Nazi. I have to figure out my own government is doing some shady shit too. So what? It's not as easy to.
The prequels. The prequels are very much World War One. Kind of literally, because the original trilogy World War II. World War I is like it started because of some Franz Ferdinand got assassinated, and that eventually spilled into World War I. Like we don't even learn the history of that war. It's just the Great War, and we got Wonder Woman, and then there's like All Quiet on the Western Front. Like no one does World War I movies. It's just it's gray and it's forgotten.
Yeah, and
that's kind of the prequels is like it's a gray story. So even the bad guys, besides Palpatine, aren't even bad. Like Dooku is one of the bads. Grievous is a bad, but like he's just a general, really, and he fights Jedi, and it's kind of like a trophy thing for him because they're such great wars, and he beats them with no force. But he's not evil. He's just fighting for the side that narratively is the bad guys, and so it's gray versus. And I think subconsciously that really makes most normies check out. Or they just watch it, but it doesn't resonate, versus like I watch the prequels and it's like I own almost nothing of the original trilogy because it's like that's not Star Wars for me. It's the prequels. Like if I just saw the original trilogy, I would not have been a Star Wars fan.
No shit. I grew up on the original trilogy. I love the prequel trilogy. Like that is I connect more with that with those three movies. And you're right. Yeah, you're right. Your assumption. I mean, your views on this I can't disagree with any of it. But I like. I enjoy the world itself and all of the content that came from it. All those.
Oh characters. No, I watched original trilogy. I'm like, oh boy, here's the part, and there's that thing, and it's good shit. But it's like. Something flat about it.
I mean, if we look back at some of it too, I mean, even Leia's personality throughout all of it. I mean,
that's why I hate Leia.
All right, but it's like I don't know. There's some things that could be. I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's not just that. It's like there's a lot of there's some disjointments here and there, and like of course, it's not just the Jabba's palace. I like the sequence and stuff, but I wish there was more reason why they were there other than just get Han, because it's like. There should have been something with that relating to the Endor or something like Jabba's helping.
No, I disagree. Actually, I never thought about from that angle, like you're saying, because that's normally our complaint with movies right now, especially with superhero shit. It's always like this Solo film and the end of the world if Black Adam doesn't stop the Demon Man, and it's like this is a Solo origin startup, and you're doing a world-ending event. Like that's what the Avengers and Justice League's for, And so with that, from that angle of like that's our complaint with film. It's like, wow, I never thought about from that angle. Where it's like this is not about the grand scheme of the galaxy. This is just like, we got to get our friend, and we got the opportunity.
Well,
we got the with Lando.
I'm referring to their importance in their rebellion, essentially. You know, Luke, Leia, and Han, Chewie, all that. Like, I don't know. It seems like they're very vital people that are going to this rescue mission that's risky by themselves just to get Han specifically in this wartime that's close to them rebuilding the second Death Star.
It's more. But the thing is like the character bond, the friendship between them is stronger than the overall story. So they are willing to sacrifice, anything else to save their friend.
I guess I'm trying to do a counter for the people that say that the Jabba stuff is pointless, or like that should have been skipped, or that should, like, a lot of people think that they should skip the Jabba stuff, and I'm like, no, I like it being there. I just think if I assume they would be more satisfied if there was a secondary reason why they were there. Like if Jabba was helping fund materials for the shield or something.
Jabba has the plans to the second Death Star.
That's not close. I just say, like, maybe they have some of the tech for the shield, or maybe that's where they get the code for the shield or something.
No, I like that. I like the simplicity of it.
I do too. It's just, people will. I'm trying to address the complaints, like the Ewok stuff. It's like, okay, what could we do that satisfies that? I feel like the concept of having sticks and stones fight armor in general, that's a really tough sell. I mean, if those were all Bigfoot Ewok, Bigfoot Wookiees or something that can rip them apart, that's a little different. It's the strength of a Bigfoot trying to stab you. I don't know. Maybe there's something there that's a little different than a little Ewok poking you with a stick. Like,
have you played Battlefield 2? Them Ewoks are scary. I picked the Ewok when I played
Battlefront 2.
No, Battlefront 2,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can play as an Ewok too in that one.
They ain't no joke.
Yep,
they nerfed
little efforts.
Well, yeah, that's what's funny about Return of the Jedi is like it's got so many good high moments, but then like it's one of those, especially because I love the dark side. I'm always hoping that like there's another cut that I didn't see, so I'm watching it like, oh boy, he joined the Emperor. Yay, the bad guys. Woohoo, die, rebels. No, it's always the same. And I got to judge that middle part with the fucking Ewoks. Like, the Ewoks is the worst thing in Star Wars to me. It's worse than The Last Jedi. It's worse than Porgs.
Really?
Like, people say that the Gungans. People say the Gungans are bad, but Gungans had a very good narrative story element to them that was also simple, and it wasn't necessarily the end of the world type of thing.
No, you're right. They were goofy.
They protect the planet. Protect one planet from its destruction. Which that movie itself sets the stage for how the Clone Wars start, essentially. And it's like this thing is happening. Picture this everywhere, happening on a lot of world.
I also think the Gungans also confronts that's the native species of that world, and they're
overlooked.
They're overlooked. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're seen as simple, but they have the means to be able to fight as well. And even if they're not as tech savvy as other species, they can still put up some type of fight against this literal droid robots that are fighting them. So
that's going to be funny when it turns out when we have our real universe's like Thanos event and his hordes come here. We're going to have to flee to like the casinos in Dakota and whatnot because they actually have shield generators and the fucking Indians have some sort of fucking like Wakanda spears that shoot beams and whatnot.
They can with my pocket knife from the casino, I can laser down a spaceship, just from the pocket knife, Yep. That sends the sound waves that can take out a whole armada.
The poles are actually missiles that can take down UFOs.
Yep.
Oh man. No, hey, this is fun. I was tired leaving work, so I stayed a little bit late, which I like to stay late, but it's Thursday, so I'm like, I want all the time to prep I can. But I was like, I'm tired. I was like, no. I got to get in the grind. I got to push through. And did expect you to come on. This is fucking great. We got to hang out more.
Absolutely.
And, talk off air. Not tonight, but talk off air soon about stuff. But yeah, before we go, though, I want to give you time to talk about what's going on with your channel, where you're networking, things in the mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am, let's see, guys, come check me out on my channel, Author Stephen Walton. I do member streams at 6. I do Rogue Entertainment at 7 this week. I'm going to have guests, Mega Reacts, and and Captain Infinity. So that's going to be fun. I'm also doing Sporting News Podcast Wednesday Dumps, the Mad Dump. Come check that out, 7:30. We have a lot of fun, and when Mad shows up, it's even more fun. So it's looking forward to seeing you guys there. And please support this channel. Share out links for it. Support Rookie Critic. Support the Fandom Collective. These people right here are amongst a cluster that started several years ago. These are the reasons why I have my channel. These are the people that kept me going and told me to keep grinding.
Dude, when I saw my channel and your little one of your first videos of like, the Fandom Menace and this, and I'm like, holy fuck, he watches me and put me in the, I'm like, shit, cool. I'm a nobody, but awesome.
You ain't a nobody. Well, if it wasn't for us shit talkers, trust me, this Indie would not have blown up the way that it did. Guys, remember to support your independent creators, man. Really, really important. Whatever lunch table you sit at, whoever brought you in, or whoever you talk to, like those friendships, those bonds mean something. So keep grinding, support each other, support your independent creators. Doesn't matter who you support. Doesn't matter who's mad at who. Doesn't matter who's beefing with who. If you like them, share out links and fuck what anybody else thinks. Be good to each other, suffer no fools, and wash your hands and wash your ass.
Hoorah.
Yeah, and I will say, closing out, tip the GoFundMe, if you will, because we're in a Biden economy and comics are expensive.
Yes.
Yes. Support